So here we have some nice Thames water and a water fountain right over here. Now the cool thing about water is that, you know, we all drink it. It's also in the ocean, and it is responsible for carving out different parts of the land that we live in. But what we got to remember besides drinking water is the fact that, you know, it is the giver of life, and on top of that, it is an incredibly powerful force.
So today we are going to be talking about three things. We're going to be talking about the Santa Ana River, the floods that are created by excessive amounts of water during rainy season, and the Balboa Island.
So in California, the most rain we get throughout the year is between October and May. And the majority of that rain happens during February time.
Now, if you live in Orange County, the Santa Ana River is at least 15 to 20 miles away from you. So I'm going to show you on the map where it is in relativity to the Balboa Island and the Balboa Peninsula, okay?
The Santa Ana River is 96 miles long.
So right here is the Santa Ana River. And you see the water flowing slowly through. Now this is the way it normally will go. And it'll spread all the way out into the Pacific Ocean. But if you look closely, you see how it goes all the way down and erodes. This right over here, the sides. This happens over a period of time, and it creates pretty much the landforms of the river on the side, and that's how we get canyons. And this is the Santa Ana River when we have a 100-year flood.
So the 100-year flood is a flood that is really intense, and it has a 1% chance of happening every year.
And this 100-year flood happened in 1825.
The Los Angeles flood of 1825 changed the course of the Los Angeles River, the Santa Monica Bay, and the San Pedro Bay.
Now, if you look all the way at the very end, you see the water diverging from its natural path. Normally it'd go into the Pacific Ocean, but we have this landmass over here, and then we've got the Balboa Peninsula. And just for frame of reference, I'm going to show you the Balboa Peninsula on a map. Now what happened was that the water was so strong that a bunch of the silt, which is clay and all different kinds of soil, ended up creating the Balboa Island that we see today. And the Balboa Island is directly above the peninsula, which I will show you on the map as well. That's pretty much what happened. In 1825, we had a really strong flood that pushed all the soil and eventually created Balboa Island that we see. So, as much as my hands are dirty right now, this is really fun to do. So the best example of a 100-year flood, which I couldn't show you with the water that we had, was that a bunch of the bridges that you saw at some point during 1825 pretty much had enough force to just break this bridge like nothing. And even break the force of it down there. Thankfully this one's sturdy, so I can't show you that example. So there you go. Now here are a couple of examples of how intense the Santa Ana River was before they started putting concrete. Right there, you get the flooding over there in Santa Ana, the radio station. You got a bunch of overflooding right over here that goes all the way down to some of the valleys and some of the valleys down here. And you got to keep in mind that some of these are just farmlands. And as an example, here are some of the crops right here. So there you go. Now here is another example of some of the homes that got flooded during that time frame before the concrete. Right there is the 1,000-foot channel when the impound flood water broke through to the ocean. The Coast Boulevard and P Railroad suffered damage as shown right over here. And there you go. So you see this little net right over here? This is right here what we use to avoid erosion on some of the slopes. It helps contain some of that soil that you see. Now if you go down over here to this little canal over here. Correction, I meant to say flood drain on that part. You can see that the water is just going down. Now that's what concrete does. It makes it easier for it to flow and it doesn't erode. And if you see it go down all the way over there at the very end, it's still going. That's pretty much the result that we want to see. We see all these little floodplains. And let's just say that this is the 100-year flood that we're talking about. And I'm putting a lot of force into it. You get a lot of the water going down. You get a stronger flow, and if you turn it around to the other side, it's still going.
And thanks to the concrete layering, we avoid erosion and overflooding. Now, let's go on to our next point. Now, here's a quick little history lesson on Balboa Island. Balboa Island was bought out by James McFadden and Robert McFadden in 1860. This was done in order to create a couple of businesses that they could get started in order to make some money. Some of the businesses that were created around that time were some docking shores, some warehouses, and some fishing companies. Now Balboa Island is known for a lot of things like the ferry that they have. They also do have an arcade. They have a couple of tourist sites, some good food. They got a Mexican place over there that's really awesome. They also have a BJ's, and alongside that, they've got many other things, including an excursion to go out whale watching, bike rentals, a small little amusement park, and they also hold a couple of events yearly. And this concludes the end of the Balboa/Santa Ana River segment. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hope to see you very soon on Zoom. Okay, guys? Take care.